and this is gonna be fun, right? So, Juicy J came out and said that, and this is, I don't agree with this, but he came out and said that 3 6 Mafia is the best rap group of all time, right? Now, if you know hip hop, like on some real shit, you know that's not true. But it brings up a question, family, right? Like, y'all talk to me about that. Who do you think is the best rap group of all time, right? So let me give you some options, and I'll get into who I think is, or who I consider my favorite, because when we say best, that's kind of subjective. But of course, we got Run DMC. Of course, we got NWA, we got Outkast, we got Dog Pound, we got UGK, we got 8 Ball and MJG, we got WuTang Clan, who was really influential, Tribe Called Quest, Eric B. and Rakim, Ghetto Boys, Bone, Thugs and Harmony, right? EPMD, Goody Mob, new group Migos. I don't really rock with the Migos, but the kids love them. You know what I mean? And once it's all said and done, you're going to have to factor in their contributions to hip hop, right? And really, when we look at like a 3 6 Mafia, I understand what he's saying. Like in the 90s, these brothers did have a strong impact on hip hop. In the 90s, they were trendsetters. I personally don't necessarily like simple flow hip hop. I'm more of a lyrical metaphor type of enjoyer. So it's certain groups, certain rappers that I respect, but I never really got around and listened to their shit too much because of the simple matter of their flow. And that kind of speaks to how I feel about 3 6 Mafia, but we got to look at the impact, like the production that them brothers was able to do, the fact that they was independent after a while, the fact that they ushered in Gangsta Boo and like a whole slew of other artists after them, you know what I mean? So they were definitely impactful, probably, for sure the most impactful group from Memphis, or the most impactful rappers from Memphis. Well, keeping in mind that 8 Ball and MJG is from there as well. So who do y'all got, man? If you had to decide who was the best hip hop group of all time, how would you even do that, right? Because I would say you would have to take in a couple factors, like what was their impact on the culture at the time that they was out. You go with their impact. You go with like their cultural relevance. Like, was people trying to dress like them, right? Did people want to look like them? How much of an impact did they have on our day-to-day life? Then you got to go to like their staying power. Like, right? If there's a hip hop group that had one album that was the shit, but they didn't quite continue that trajectory, then that's kind of a knock on them to me, right? Opposed to a Outkast or another group who was able to put together 3, 4, 5 platinum albums in a row. That shit matter, right? So it's cultural relevance, staying power, effectiveness of the crew. Like if it's a group of 3 or 4 dudes, how many of them do you like? Like, was there a weak link in the crew type of shit? You know what I mean? Because my personal favorite, because again, we got a whole, because there's, like I said, Migos, I forgot to say G Unit, like EPMD, the Clips, like the Clips, they hard. They was hard. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely not three. I respect those brothers, but definitely not 3 6 Mafia. So I would say, look, my favorite, me personally, let me take a look here. My favorite group of all time. I'm from California, Northern California to be exact. You know what I mean? I'm from California. My favorite hip hop group of all time is the Clique. E40, Sugar T, Be Legit, D Shot. My favorite group of all time is the Clique, because my favorite artist of all time is E40. And in the 90s, even into the early 2000s, E40 and the Clique had an extremely large impact on Bay Area rap. Now, there's some other, Bay Area groups that I rocked with a lot. There was RBL Posse, 3 6, not 3 6 Mafia, but RBL Posse. 3 Times Crazy was extremely effective in the Bay Area, in California. Many people outside of California may not be aware of who 3 Times Crazy is, but Keek the Sneak, Bart, Agerman, great group from the Bay Area, you know what I mean? But I would say the Clique has to be my favorite. Next from my favorite, or next from the Clique, I would say my favorite, y'all, would be Outkast. Simply because of what they did for the South. My family being from the South, I was heavy into Southern music when I was younger, just based on having a connection to my family in New Orleans and Mystical and No Limit Records and all this shit when they first got popping. And I would say Outkast is probably one of the more influential groups simply because what they was able to do for the South. Like they ushered in an era for the South and Atlanta. Like we gotta be clear on how impactful Atlanta hip hop has been to the music industry. You know what I mean? So I say Outkast is definitely probably like my second favorite. I like Dog Pound too, just being a West Coast dude. They haven't put out much music lately, but I'm definitely a Dog Pound fan. UGK was able to bring a lot of good music to the table. Pimp C, his untimely demise, you know what I mean? That was unfortunate, but them two brothers together was like a real good mix. You know what I mean? So we could talk about this all day, man. It's like a lot of these groups bring something different. Like even the WuTang Clan. I'm not and never have been like a WuTang Clan fan. Like I can't. The music, like the production was always on some. It was too East Coast for me. But we can't negate these brothers' impact and how several of them you can still see their impact around the music industry, whether they're acting, whether they're producing or doing scores for movies like RZA do, like Method Man is an extremely talented lyricist. You know what I mean? Old Dirty Bastard was just a great personality that went too quickly, you know what I mean? But these brothers' impact can be seen around the music industry today, and they have like a global following as far as China and all these different places that really appreciated their work, you know what I mean? We can't forget, like, well, Eric B. and Rakim, I guess you could call them a group, but it was only one dude rapping because, you know, we know how hard Rakim is. So it's a interesting conversation, right? To get into even the Ghetto Boys. Like, look at the Ghetto Boys. You know what I mean? The Ghetto Boys had a lot of hit records. They had a lot of hit albums. But if you was to, like the criteria I was talking about earlier, with like the effectiveness of the crew, Scarface was hella hard, but then it was kind of like a drop off. Like I rock with Willie D now and all the stuff he doing now, but he wasn't that tight of a rapper to me. Neither was Bushwick Bill. Like he was more entertaining than actually a thorough MC. You know what I mean? So it's something to think about, man. But I definitely say it ain't 3 6 Mafia. But I want to talk about that because I'm such a big fan of hip hop, and I want to get everybody take. When you watch the video, comment under the video. Who is your favorite hip hop artist of all? Oh, I'm sorry, your favorite hip hop group of all time, and why? You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of factors to put in there. Because again, this is subjective. I'm sure we gonna get a lot of different answers because, like I listed, it's a lot of different groups. You feel me? So let's talk about it, family. Who is your favorite or the best? Who is the best you think? The best hip hop group of all time? Let's talk about it. Now, let me see here. Do I got another story? No, family, we rolling. Family, we rolling. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page yet, please do so, family. Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. Subscribe right now if you haven't done so. Go to the website, melanatedfathers.com.